So we talked about how Brent Venables was able to secure multiple wins on National Signing Day, but now that some time has passed, I want to take a look holistically at the Oklahoma Sooners class and what they were able to do in the transfer portal. Because when you look at the totality of circumstances, it's pretty incredible what the Sooners were able to achieve. But before we hop into all of that, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Are you happy with how the recruiting class turned out for the Oklahoma Sooners? And are you happy with the Sooners transfer portal acquisitions? I'm really intrigued at hearing from y'all. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoy the content, like and comment down below. Those interactions are truly massive to content creators such as myself. But having said all of that, let's break this down because like I said in the intro, when you look at the totality of circumstances, it's pretty incredible what Oklahoma and Brent Venables were able to do. When you see the players that decommitted both in the class for 22, the class for 23, and those that left through the transfer portal, it was easy at the time being to write off the Oklahoma Sooners, and many did. However, once Brent Venables came in there, life was injected into that program. And ultimately, the Oklahoma Sooners finished with not only a top 10 class through the transfer portal, but also a top 10 recruiting class. A title that only they and the Texas Longhorns can claim. Oklahoma finishing out with the number 8 recruiting class in the nation to go hand in hand with the number 4 class through the transfer portal. And that right there really highlights the versatility of what Brent Venables was able to do. Brent Venables didn't walk into a situation that was quote-unquote the best. The program he walked into was a program that many others would have been very proud to walk into because it's a blue blood status program. A great program to take over, and Bob Stoops was there. But when you look at how everything happened, it wasn't the best time to walk in, and Brent Venables didn't waste any time turning things around. And that's why I say, no matter who you root for, it's pretty incredible what this Sooner staff was able to do. And when we really start diving into the devils of the details, it gets even more impressive. Because we can talk about what they were able to do on offense. Caleb Williams enters the transfer portal, and that's a loss. But it didn't take long for Brent Venables and company to go and identify Dillon Gabriel. And what's more, Jeff Lebby got a major win through recruiting in Nick Evers, a 4-star prospect who really lines up with what Lebby wants to do offensively, as does Dillon Gabriel, as Dillon Gabriel was his quarterback when they were both at UCF. That continuity is going to be massive, but it wasn't just relegated to quarterback success. They lose some wide receivers to the transfer portal. They go out and get 6'5" wide receiver Jaden Gibson, along with Nicholas Anderson. So this staff was cognizant of what was lost and were able to go out there and recruit those positions. When we look at running back, not only were they able to get in Gavin Sawchuk, who I think has a really high ceiling, they were also able to go in and add Javante Barnes, a name we need to keep an eye on. They were able to get in offensive line talent. That's something we need to watch, both through recruiting and through the transfer portal. We needn't forget what they got on defense. They were able to lock up the number 1 player in the state in Gentry Williams, who's going to be of massive importance to that secondary once he's able to come in there in development. We're talking about a guy with legit track speed. But speaking of speed, you cannot mention speed and not mention Jaren Kanak, the linebacker who's already managed to turn heads, and I think a lot of the Sooner fan base is really keyed in on that name as to what he's going to be able to do through spring, and deservedly so. Whenever you have an individual that has posted the measurements Kanak has, it's going to cause excitement. But if we're sticking at linebacker, you also have Kobe McKenzie, who's already becoming a fan favorite. And on the defensive line, R. Mason Thomas was a major win during the 11th hour on National Signing Day, as was Grayson Holton. Grayson Holton was one time an Oregon commit, but a major flip for the Oklahoma Sooners, someone who could be an impact player sooner rather than later. No matter where we turn, this Oklahoma team was able to get in a lot of talent. Whether we're talking about the quarterbacks, the offensive line, the running backs, Gentry Williams, Robert Spears Jennings, Jaren Kanak, there's a lot of names for us to point to, and because of that, a lot of excitement for Oklahoma fans. But I'm very intrigued as to what the future has in store for this group for the Oklahoma Sooners, because it's really incredible what Brent Venables was able to salvage for Sooner Nation. So with that being said, hop down to the comments. Really intrigued in hearing from y'all about your thoughts of not only how you were able to do through the recruiting process, but through the transfer portal, because I certainly don't think Oklahoma is done there. Can't wait to hear from you. That's it. See ya.